Hi P4 students, it's Mrs. Hammond here. Today we are going to go over your learning objective for your RC homework that you will get this weekend. Okay, so the learning objective is students can compare and contrast the above genres of modern fiction. Alright, so the Venn diagram, I know you've all seen it before in previous years. So we use a Venn diagram to compare or contrast things. Okay, so the word compare, we use this when we want to tell how they are similar or alike. Okay, when two or more things are similar or alike. So we can see some words commonly used when we compare things in the box on the left-hand side. Okay, so some examples are similar, alike, have in common. Okay, and then we go over to the right-hand side and we can see the word contrast. Okay, so when we contrast things, that's when we explain how two or more things are different. Okay, and words we can use to contrast things are seen in the box on the right-hand side. So for example, on the other hand, although, whereas, and unlike. So genres, I'm sure you have seen this word before. Okay, this word pops up when we are reading books or when we're going to a movie to watch a film. Okay, we want to know what type of movie we're going to see or what type of book we are reading. So, romance, okay, you've all heard this word before. It's talking about love. Fable. All right, so this is a fiction, a type of fiction that we have learnt in this unit. Okay, so we know that fables are a type of fiction where an animal tries to act as a human. Okay, and we can also learn some lessons in fables. Adventure. Okay, so that means there's going to be a bit of action here. Horror, okay, a little bit scary. Fantasy, okay, this is another type of fiction that you've been learning at school, and a fantasy fiction is make-believe. Comedy, something a little bit funny, make you laugh. Mystery, okay, so mystery usually involves some type of detective work. And realistic, okay, something we can relate to in real life, something we can actually imagine happening in real life. And science fiction, okay, sci-fi, it has to revolve around science. So now you are going to listen to two stories written by Robert Munch, and you will be able to click on the title of each story and you will be redirected to his website. So the first story you're going to listen to is the Sandcastle Contest. And the second story you're going to listen to is Stephanie's Ponytail. Okay, so make sure you take some time to click on these links and listen to the stories, otherwise you might find it a little bit difficult to answer the questions going forward. Okay, so here we see the Venn diagram again, and we see on the left-hand side we see Stephanie's Ponytail, and on the right-hand side we see the Sandcastle Contest. All right, so remember on either side of the circles, on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side, you will see the contrasting features, okay, the features that are different. And then in the middle, you will see the comparisons, okay, some things that can be seen in both stories which are similar. Okay, so by listening to Stephanie's Ponytail, you should have worked out that it was a realistic fiction story. Okay, so it's a story that we can relate to. It's a story that could happen in real life. And then on the right-hand side, the Sandcastle Contest, okay, fantasy fiction. There's a little bit of magic in there, okay? We can imagine going camping, okay, but then the story kind of takes a turn as we read on. All right, so let's go back to the left-hand side of the Venn diagram, to Stephanie's Ponytail. And we can see the first point talks about leadership and independence. Okay, so Stephanie is a leader. Okay, she always wants a new type of hairstyle, no matter what other people say. Okay, so she is leading the way in terms of hairstyle, and people are following her. Okay, so she seems to be doing it by herself. So therefore, she is showing some type of independence. And she doesn't really care what others think. Okay, so she has a sense of security. Okay, she doesn't worry about what they say. And the next point, elements of copying and trickery. Okay, so each day she comes with a new hairstyle. We can see the next day the students and the teachers copy her. Okay, so copying is actually a type of compliment because they like her style, they like the way she acts. And trickery comes into play when she finally gets so sick of the other students copying her, she tricks them. Okay, she tricks them by saying that she will come to school the next day with no hair, when actually, all along, she was trying to trick them. So the next day, they all came with no hair, and she came with her normal hairstyle. The third point, frustration. Okay, so she gets a little bit frustrated about the others copying her. Okay, and then finally, they were so gullible, they actually thought that she would come with no hair, when really she was tricking them. And the last point we can see is bullying. Okay, so each day the students gang up on her and they say, ugly, ugly, very ugly. But does she care? No. Okay, she always comes to school the next day with some type of wacky hairstyle. Okay, let's go across to the right-hand side to the Sandcastle Contest. So we can see the first point is talking about how the story starts off as a realistic story. Okay, Matthew and his family are getting ready to go camping, which is very realistic. Okay, we can also do that. But as we read further into the story, we can see that there's a type of magic that comes into play. Okay, he builds a sandcastle so realistic that even the judges don't believe that his sand house is actually made out of sand. Okay, this is something that we cannot do when we go to the beach. Okay, therefore, it is showing the element of magic. And the third point, determination. Okay, so he wants to win. He wants to win the competition, but he also wants to prove that his house is made out of sand, so he needs to kick it down in the end. Okay, the fourth point we can see is sharing. Okay, when he gets to the beach, the girl is sharing the information about the contest happening. Okay, so they work out how they are both going to win, and they play nicely together. In the end, they end up sharing the tub of ice cream. And they create a friendship together. Okay, they get along well. There's no fighting or anything. And if we go to the middle part, the comparison section. So both stories are set in a realistic setting. Okay, Stephanie's Ponytail is set at school and at home. And the Sandcastle Contest is set at the beach. Okay, the next point, determination. I think actually both characters show determination. Stephanie shows the other students how determined she is to be independent, how determined she is to be a leader, and how determined she is to not let the others worry her. Okay, Matthew, on the other hand, is also determined to win the competition and to show the judges that actually his sandcastle is made out of sand. The next point, in both stories, the characters are humans, okay? They are people. And then the last point, imagination, okay? So imagination is shown in both stories. Stephanie uses her imagination when she's constantly trying to think of new hairstyles. And Matthew is using his imagination to create the perfect sandhouse. All right, question time. Which element in the story, the Sandcastle Contest, contrasts itself from the beginning to the end? Okay, so let's think about that question one more time. The story we need to concentrate on is the Sandcastle Contest. Okay, I see a word in pink, which is contrasts. Okay, so we know contrasts means different. And then beginning and end. So something that is different from the beginning and the end. So is it A, characters start off as normal people and evolve to display evil powers? B, the genre changes from realistic to fantasy? C, the theme changes from magic to evil? Or D, the storyline is the same as the real world? Okay, so unfortunately, when you go down to the beach, I don't think you can build a sand house like Matthew did. Do we see evil in the Sandcastle Contest? I don't think so. Okay, so I think the best answer is going to be B. So the story changes from realistic at the start when his family are going camping to a fantasy fiction, okay, where they create the sand house and the sand dog, which actually can't be seen in real life. Okay, so I hope you all managed to get the answer B. If you didn't, don't worry. The next question, which elements in the stories Stephanie's Ponytail and the Sandcastle Contest are similar? Okay, so we're looking at both stories now and similar. Okay, so something that's the same. So is it A, both have realistic settings and people as characters? B, one story has people as characters and the other has animals as characters? C, both have talking animals? Or D, none of the above? So let's look at C first. Both have talking animals? No. Okay, there were no talking animals in Stephanie's Ponytail. And the Sandcastle Contest, I don't think the sand dog ever talked in the story. Okay, so I think that is a no. B, one story has people as characters and the other has animals as characters. Maybe not the best. A, both have realistic settings and people as characters. Okay, I think that A might be the best answer. Let's have a look. All right, we also have a clue in there. Both. Okay, remember we're looking at something that is similar. So A is the best answer here. Next question. How do the characters in Stephanie's Ponytail and the Sandcastle Contest contrast each other? Okay, so we're looking at the characters in both of the stories. And contrast, we know, means different. Okay, so if we think about how the characters in each story are different, are they different through the use of magic, through determination, imagination, or none of the above? Does Stephanie show some type of magic in Stephanie's ponytail? I don't think so. Okay, so maybe this is how they are different. Let's have a look. All right, A is your answer there. And this question, what is a contrasting feature between a fable and a realistic or fantasy fiction story? Okay, contrasting, different. A lesson is learnt and animals speak like people. B, animals act like people. C, the characters solve a problem. Or D, the characters have superpowers. Okay, so we want a contrasting feature. So I think in a fable we learn something. Okay, we learn a lesson, and we usually see animals speaking or acting like people. So I think A might be the best answer here. All right. So to summarize, we have touched on the difference between comparison and contrasting. Okay, so compare means the same or similar, and contrasting is different. The second part, we've identified the elements of Stephanie's ponytail and the Sandcastle Contest that can be compared and contrasted. And we've also revised what makes a fable different from a realistic or fantasy fiction story. All right, your homework. So your homework is going to be RC 5.4. So be sure to identify the keywords in your mind before answering the questions, just like we did before. Okay, so if you need to highlight the keywords, then you might need to print off the worksheet, but you can also try to think of the keywords before you answer the questions on the computer. Okay, if you need a little bit of help or revision, be sure to use 5.0. Okay, if you need to clarify anything. All right, good luck for your homework, and I hope you enjoyed listening to Stephanie's Ponytail and the Sandcastle Contest. Okay, bye P4. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.